This is a Sports Catastrophe production. Hey there, hello there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond, and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe birthday boy. And the birthday boy for today, October the 15th, is a man who was a star pitcher in the 1960s, who pitched 19 years for the Baltimore Orioles, and only the Baltimore Orioles, who was an icon in the 70s, I guess. The winningest pitcher in the 1970s with 186 wins. He holds the Orioles record for most wins, and he actually was a popular spokesperson for jockey underwear. Why I'm saying that, I don't freaking know. But anyway, it's Jim Palmer. So Jim Palmer pitched Baltimore a few years, and then from the 69 to 84, he would be for Baltimore. He won 20 games in a season 8 times, 3 Cy Youngs, 4 Gold Gloves, 2 Turtle Doves. Anyway, 268 wins, the Orioles record, 6-time All-Star. He never gave up a grand slam. Ever. That is a shock. All that. Palmer was helping Baltimore be one of the most dominant AL teams of the 1970s. In fact, he's the only pitcher in history to win a game in a World Series in 3 different decades, the 60s, 70s, and 80s. He actually was the youngest to pitch a complete game shutout in the World Series 9 days before his 21st birthday in 1966. He was one of the starters on the rotation that got 4 20-game winners in 1971, and he's a Hall of Famer in 1990. So yeah, he was spokesperson. So he's 76 today, if you must know. So anyway, Jim Palmer was around. Palmer would sign for Baltimore. Now, of course, this was before the draft started. So anyway, it was a weird thing. So Jim Palmer was known for his high kick pitching and all that. He picked up his first major league win against the Yankees in 1965 as a reliever. In 1966, he was part of the Baltimore rotation, and that team, as I said in an earlier Sports Catastrophe on this day, was when Baltimore shocked the Dodgers by not only sweeping them, but only giving up 2 runs the whole series, and both runs were in Game 1. So at 20 years, 11 months old, he was the youngest to get a complete game World Series shutout, taking down the Dodgers 6-0. That was part of 33 straight innings that the Orioles shut out their opponents. So anyway, Palmer would have arm issues and all that. He was sent to the minor leagues. All that. He was actually placed on waivers and not claimed by the Orioles, so that the Kansas City Royals or the Seattle Pilots, who were in the expansion draft in the American League, would claim him, but he wasn't claimed. So anyway, Palmer would pitch in Puerto Rico, but before that, he actually bumped into a pharmaceutical representative who said he tried Indocin. And Palmer's arm stopped hurting, and his fastball finally hit the 95 mark again. Palmer was healthy for the 69 squad. He pitched Game 3 against the Mets, but lost. He even threw a no-hitter on August 13th against Oakland, his only no-hitter. However, in 1971, Jim Palmer would join Mike Cuellar, Dave McNally, and Pat Dobson, winning 20 games. 4 20-win pitchers in one squad. But that squad did not do well. Well, they did go to Game 7 of the World Series against the Pirates, but they lost. Palmer seemed to be pretty good and all that. Pair of 20-win seasons, especially in 73 when he got his first Cy Young Award. So Palmer won 23 games in 1975 after an injury in 74. So Palmer would win the Cy Youngs in 75 and 76. After 76, he would not win another Cy Young. But Palmer was still good. Jim Palmer wanted more money, and he almost went to free agency, but Baltimore gave him the money anyway. So, but of course, with pitchers hitting free agency like Vida Blue and Bert by 11 getting a lot more money than Palmer in 1979, he complained. He wanted to be paid better. He's very much underpaid. Was very much underpaid. But Palmer got over his discontentment, and the team won the AL pennant. Anyway, Palmer and the Orioles would blow a 3-1 series lead to Pittsburgh in the World Series, which wasn't good. But he still had a veteran presence and all that. Anyway, Palmer's final Major League victory was noteworthy. He pitched in relief of Mike Flanagan in Game 3 of the 83 World Series and did not give up any runs to the Phillies' strong batting order as well. Amazingly. So that 1983 World Series victory, well, Baltimore won the World Series in 5. So his first World Series win as a pitcher was 66, and his last one was 83. So this first and last pitching victories, it was the longest period of time, 17 years. Winning World Series games in 3 decades. And Palmer is the only Orioles player to appear in all 6 World Series appearances as the Orioles to date. 66, 69, 70, 71, 79, and 83. In fact, Baltimore on the 83 squad, he was the only member of that 83 team to have previously won a World Series. Baltimore released Palmer and got to the Hall of Fame in his first year. Palmer actually was known for doing color commentary for ABC, even for the 81 World Series. Palmer would join a decent announcing team with Al Michaels and Tim McCarver. Palmer was shocked that in the 85 World Series, he was supposed to be with Michaels and Cosell. But, of course, Cosell got in deep trouble after he released a book that was critical of his overlords at ABC. So McCarver came in. And people forget Tim McCarver was a color analyst for a station not named Fox. He would do it for ABC, and then he would do it for CBS, being the color commentator in 92 and 93 next to Sean McDonough when the Blue Jays won their back-to-back World Series titles. So yeah, Jim Palmer was a good color commentator, I think. Palmer was present at Candlestick Park when that earthquake hit, which we'll talk about in a couple days. ABC would lose its baseball contract to CBS. Palmer somehow decided he would try out for the Orioles in spring training in 1991. He wanted to see if he could be like Nolan Ryan, an ageless wonder. Been actually wanted him to take a pay cut and sign a 3-year contract. Palmer just wanted to prove himself and all that. Unfortunately, in 2 innings of a spring training game, he gave up a lot of hits and retired permanently. Palmer did say he tore his hamstring. So Palmer would come back to broadcasting with ABC, of course, in that joint venture of ABC and NBC called the Baseball Network. He would call the World Series. Palmer was going to be with McCarver and Michaels calling the 1994 World Series for ABC, but it was denied because of the strike. So he's currently a color commentator on Mid-Atlantic Sports Network's TV broadcast of Oregon, which used to have Gary Thorne, but not anymore. Fuck. Palmer actually put up for auction his 3 Cy Young trophies and 2 Gold Glove awards, saying that I would rather concern myself with the education of my grandchildren. And Palmer actually said that he has an autistic teenage stepson who needs special care. Wow, that's shocking. So, man, he had such a good legacy and all that. I mean, winning a game in the World Series for in 3 decades, that's just amazing. He was the endorsement for jockey briefs and all that. And the money store. Personal life, he would marry someone named Susan and have 2 daughters, Jamie and Kelly. And then after that marriage dissolved, Palmer would marry someone else, but no children came from the marriage, and they were divorced in 2000. And then Palmer would marry someone who had an adult son with autism. So that's very nice. All that for Jim Palmer. So he was pretty good. He was a decent pitcher for Baltimore, even though they kind of suck now. They've gone down a cliff, but Jim Palmer is still a quintessential pitcher. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.